Dear students, welcome. We have been discussing the concept of forensic linguistics, and this is the third part of our discussion. So far in the discussion, we have seen that forensic linguistics is a new phenomena in the area of linguistics. In this regard, two different things are studied together. One thing is language, and second is the area of law or crime. So far in the discussion, we have seen that how language can prevent and solve the crimes. We went through the definition. We went through the definition given by Wikipedia that forensic linguistics is also called as legal linguistics or language of the law, right? Then we also saw how forensic this word comes from Latin language, right? And it indicates law court. We also saw that forensic linguistics is a branch of applied linguistics. Here, applied means useful, utilized linguistics, right? And FL, that is forensic linguistics, is called as legal linguistics or language and the law. We saw that the main focus of forensic linguistics is who said this, who wrote this, and why. So who said means the spoken format, and who wrote this means the written format. So spoken and written, these two formats comes under the category of forensic linguistics for study. We saw that forensic linguistics help non-linguists such as means forensic linguistics is helpful for the people like investigators, mainly the police, then judges, then juries, then lawyers, and counter-terrorist groups. Right? And how forensic linguistics helps? It helps to gain more information from language evidence. So language is used as an evidence like fingerprints, right, against the crime. Later on, we saw that forensic linguistics does what? Forensic linguistics aims to have careful and systematic analysis of language. The result of analysis can be used by many different professionals. So language is considered as one of the proofs in the investigation. Okay, just like bullets, just like knife, right, like that. For example, police can use this evidence not only to interview witnesses and suspects more effectively, but also to solve crimes more reliably. Lawyers, judges, and jury members can use these analyses to help evaluate questions of guilt and innocence more fairly. And translators and interpreters can use this research to communicate with greater accuracy. So forensic linguistics serves justice and helps people to find the truth when the crime has been committed. So careful and systematic analysis of language to prove the crime. So how is it possible? Okay. For that reason, I'm just sharing a video with you people. Just go through it. Just try to understand it. Okay.
One of the fastest growing fields in the forensic world has nothing to do with blood, fibers, or crime scene evidence, but rather words. Dr. Robert Leonard is one of this country's top forensic linguists. In the Charlene Hummert murder investigation, Leonard's task analyzed two letters, one sent to the police.
This girl has been murdered by a criminal. Okay. And that murderer has sent a letter to the police. You can see it in the background. The police wanted to check whether this paper, this cheat, this letter has been written by the criminal or not. Okay, let's see.
Police and the other sent to the media by the purported killer.
In forensic linguistics, we can opine as to whether certain letters were written by the same person or different persons. Secondly, we can give demographic information on the person who wrote one or other of these letters.
Investigators hope Leonard can link the letters. One called the stalker letter, the other the serial killer letter, to the writings of lead suspect Brian Hummert.
This man is the suspect, okay? This is under trial. The police is investigating.
And Hummert.
The serial killer letter began, "I killed Charlene Hummert, not her husband."
See how each word, each sentence is analyzed by the forensic linguist people. Okay?
This was pretty good evidence that the letter belonged to a class of documents that the FBI calls POMICs, which is post-offense manipulation of investigative communication.
These types of writings are often composed to try and send investigators in the wrong direction.
See how typical letters in a handwriting are analyzed, right? Like that. So these are the samples of some symbols from the handwriting. Some letters are there, K, 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 like that. So the same letter is written differently. So such kind of analysis is done by the police with the help of forensic
But
linguists.
Leonard saw a pattern.
In the serial killer letter, there was a sentence, "She tried to break it off, so I broke her neck." In the stalker letter, there was a sentence, "I would have liked to have found out. She made sure my fiancé found out."
The type of speech is known as ironic repetition.
The more I searched, the less I found on it as a standard rhetorical device, and I was finally able to come to the opinion that it was rare enough so that it was possible evidence of common authorship of the two.
Something else jumped out at Leonard.
There was something fairly unique about the way Brian Hummert used contractions. It was always, "I am going to the store." "I don't want." Negatives, contracted. Positives, always not contracted. There were only 3 places where I ever found that precise pattern of contractions: the serial killer letter, the stalker letter, and the writings of Brian Hummert, the suspect. I thought to myself, is it actually possible that this suspect is now going to go to jail for the rest of his life because of the way he contracted verbs?
Leonard relates one of the most infamous forensic linguistic cases involving a local dialect. The case was handled by retired professor Roger Shai.
See, the 2 examples of the letters are over here. Both the handwritings are compared. Okay.
The authorities came to him with a ransom note. It said, "Put $10,000.
He spoke of ransom note. Ransom note. Note means the letter. Ransom note काय असते? किडनॅपर्स पत्र पाठवतो की इतके पैसे घेऊन तुम्ही ते पैसे इथे तुम्ही पोचवा. बस फिल्म सुद्धा आपण पाहिलेलं आहे त्या पद्धतीने. That is called ransom note. खंडणीचा पत्र. खंडणी मागतात त्याचं पत्र. Right? Ransom note सुद्धा
Cash in a diaper bag. Put it in the trash can at the Devil Strip at corner 18th and Carlson." Roger Shai almost instantly was able to say to the investigators, "On your suspect list, do you have a well-educated man from Akron, Ohio?" This is what he based his thoughts on. Think, what is the name that you have for that strip of grass in between the sidewalk and the street? Some call it a median strip, a county strip, or a devil strip. But they only call it a devil strip in Akron, Ohio. This was a very good detail because it was below the level of consciousness. These are common stereotypes. And indeed, the authorities went to the person on their suspect list from Akron, Ohio, who was well educated, and he confessed.
Means the criminal was well educated, he's saying. And how it is proved? The police or the forensic linguists, they found that the criminal is highly educated, and they proved it with the help of the language used by some highly educated person, right? So polished, correct use of language that criminal has used.
Language can solve crimes. Language can prevent crimes. And investigators should know that letters, notes, emails, blogs, any of these things can be used to help them in their investigations.
So how language is analyzed? So we need not to go into deeper levels, right? So let's go towards the history of forensic linguistics. So law received the attention of psychologists, anthropologists, and political scientists, but forensic linguistics got its momentum from 1980s. Okay, and the phrase forensic linguistics was used for the first time by Jan Swartik in 1968. It started mainly in United Kingdom and America and Australia. Let's move further. That which are the areas of study? The first area of forensic linguistics is legal language, language in the legal process, and language as evidence. So forensic linguistics studies language with these three dimensions. First is how language is used in legal matters, right, in legal process. Then how language can be used as a weapon, as a evidence or proof against the criminals to prove the crime. So how is it possible to prove the crime, right? Nowadays, code words are used by terrorists and the criminals. Okay, and these code words are captured by police department, CID, or the agencies like RAW or FBI. RAW means the agency of India. FBI is the agency of America. So they try to encode the words and the sentences and the intended or hidden meaning. Okay. Terrorists काय करतायत ऑनलाईन बरेचसे चॅटिंग करतात, मेसेजेस पाठवतात, फोन करत असतात. असे बोलत असताना कॉमन लँग्वेज वापरत नाहीत, ते कोड लँग्वेज वापरतात. कोड लँग्वेज, राईट. आणि ही कोड लँग्वेजची काही क्लिप्स वगैरे हे कोण कॅप्चर करतं? तर पोलीस, राईट. तर पोलीस काय करतं? मग त्यांचे कोड वर्ड्स जे आहेत ते अंडरस्टँड करण्याचा प्रयत्न करतात. हे कसं होतं बरं? लेट्स सी. आणि यामध्ये फॉरेन्सिक लिंग्विस्टिक्स सुद्धा अतिशय महत्वपूर्ण काम करतं. लेट्स सी.
The Mumbai police recently got the custody of an alleged LET operative Sabahuddin from the Uttar Pradesh police. They believe Sabahuddin can provide them with vital leads on...
Video दिसतोय ना? Yes. सुप्रिया, व्हिडिओ दिसतोय का?
नाही सर.
नाही दिसत आहे?
नाही.
स्क्रीन दिसते आता? स्क्रीन दिसते का?
नाही सर, दिसतच नाही.
आता? आता दिसते का स्क्रीन?
हो सर.
नक्की?
हो सर, दिसतंय.
काय दिसतंय बरं स्क्रीनवर? सांगा कोण आहे?
एक मुलगी आहे.
बघा टेररिस्ट भाषा कशी वापरतात आणि
The Mumbai
encoding
police
कशी होते.
recently got the custody of an alleged LET operative Sabahuddin from the Uttar Pradesh police. They believe Sabahuddin can provide them with vital leads on Ajmal Kasab, the lone terrorist captured in the 26/11 terror attacks. But Sabahuddin's confession statement has also revealed other intriguing details of how these operatives used code words with their associates to describe locations and operations. Rashmi Rajput has the details.
New revelations from the confession of Sabahuddin Ahmed, now under the scanner for his alleged role in the 26/11 attacks. Details that reveal how the terror outfit communicates through secret codes. These were the codes used by Sabahuddin, the alleged LET operative, to communicate with his handlers and his associates. NDTV has a copy of his confession statement in which he has given details of these codes.
See, codes, right? These are the sign used.
Like the ones used commonly for words like weapon, fidain, action, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan and Kashmir. These were the codes used for Bangalore. Sabahuddin is the main accused in the IISc bombings at Bangalore in 2005. He was arrested in February by the Lucknow police and brought to Mumbai last week. Sabahuddin says his handler Muzammil, alias Yusuf, had taught him how to use the internet. A 3-email ID system was devised to communicate. The first email ID was used for receiving weapons, the second was used when weapons reached their destination, and the third email ID was used after the task was completed.
Okay, can you see the screen now? Hello? Hello? स्क्रीन दिसतोय आता?
हो सर.
बघा टेररिस्ट मंडळी कशी भाषा वापरते आहे कोड वर्ड्स. म्हणजे कोड वर्ड्स सॉल्व्ह करण्याचं काम करून करतात फॉरेन्सिक लिंग्विस्ट. मदत करतात पोलिसांना, राईट? आणि भविष्यात काही हल्ले होणार असतील तर हे हल्ले थांबवले जाऊ शकतात त्या कोड वर्ड्सचा अभ्यास करून सुद्धा. ह्या गोष्टीमध्ये फॉरेन्सिक लिंग्विस्टिक्स आपल्याला पोलिसांना खूप मदत करतात. भाषा ही एका प्रूफ प्रमाणे काम करते. आतापर्यंत प्रूफ काय होतो? पुण्याच्या हातामधला असला चाकू असेल, बुलेट असेल, राईट, फाशी दिली असेल तर दोरी असेल. आता भाषा सुद्धा काय आहे? प्रूफ म्हणून वापरली जाते. So legal language is the language used by legal professions in the course of their work, right? Just like in national constitutions, Samvidhan, we call it, law, statuses, and contractual agreements. So we can say that ordinary language is totally different from legal language. So legal language is different because it is full of wordiness, redundancy, and specialized vocabulary in addition to complex, lengthy, and unusual sentence structure. So if you read some agreement, legal agreement, okay, you would find that the language used in that legal agreement is totally different from our day-to-day language. Right? तुम्ही खरेदी विक्रीचा जरी व्यवहार केला तरी त्या खरेदी विक्रीच्या व्यवहाराचा जो उतारा असतो किंवा खरेदी खत म्हणतो आपण त्याला, ते सुद्धा तुम्ही वाचून बघा. खरेदी खत मध्ये असलेली मराठी भाषा ही आपण जी मराठी भाषा बोलतोय त्या मराठी भाषेपेक्षा खूप खूप वेगळी आहे. राईट? म्हणजे त्या खरेदी खतावरची भाषा मराठी जी कोणती आहे ती लीगल मराठी म्हणून आपण. आपण जे बोलतोय आता डे टू डे, इट इज कॉल्ड ऑर्डिनरी मराठी. राईट? एखाद्या कोर्टाचं तुम्ही जजमेंट बघा. राईट? जजमेंट म्हणजे काय? कोर्ट एखादा निर्णय देतो बघा, किंवा एखाद्या गव्हर्नमेंटचा GR बघा, गव्हर्नमेंट रेझोल्युशन. राईट? त्यामध्ये असलेली मराठी भाषा सुद्धा काय आहे आपल्या कॉमन मराठी भाषेपेक्षा फार फार वेगळी आहे. So language in legal matters is totally different from language in ordinary day-to-day life. Right? This is the example. You can go through this example later on. So language in the legal process, you can see the images over here. And you can imagine the typical words used in legal matters. You must have seen some court scenes in films and serials. They use the words my lord, right? My friend, witnesses, lawyers, like that, act number, right? The Panchanama, witnesses, right? गुन्ह्याचे क्रमांक असतात बघा, कलम असतात, it is called कलम, right? The IPC, Indian Penal Code, कोड असतात प्रत्येक गुन्ह्याला. जसं मर्डर असेल तर 302 असतो, राईट. हाफ मर्डर असेल तर 307 असतो, isn't it? Like that. म्हणजे प्रत्येक गुन्ह्याला कोड दिलेले आहे, राईट. आणि त्या कोड मध्येच काय दिलं आहे तर की गुन्ह्याबद्दलचं स्वरूप आणि गुन्ह्यामध्ये दिली जाणारी शिक्षा. CRPC and IPC, these are the two law books, right? कोणी LLB चा असेल, LLB चे विद्यार्थी, त्यांना तुम्ही विचारू शकता हाऊ लँग्वेज इज यूज्ड इन द केस ऑफ लॉ. CRPC and IPC. CRPC क्रिमिनल प्रोसिजर कोड and IPC इंडियन पेनल कोड, राईट. या दोन पुस्तकांमध्ये पूर्ण कायदा सामावलेला आहे. So if you go through these two books, you will find that language is totally different like that. So in this process, the objective is to gather the maximum of data spoken and written, to analyze it and to try to narrow the number of suspects. Suspect म्हणजे काय? संशयित. तर गुन्ह्यामध्ये समजा 10 ते 12 संशयित असतील तर सगळेच काही आरोपी नसणार, राईट. मग ते इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन करताना भाषा सुद्धा वापरली जाते, त्याचा यूज होत असतो, राईट. It examines language that is used in cross examination, evidence presentation, judges direction, police cautions, police testimonies, memos in the court, summing up to a jury, interview techniques, right? The questioning process in the court and in the areas such as police interviews. आता काय खूप डीप मध्ये जायचं नाही आहे. पोलिसाचा कसा यूज करतात, काय होत कोर्ट मध्ये वगैरे, या गोष्टीमध्ये आपल्याला जास्त जायचं नाही. So language is used as an evidence. That's it. Focus on the study of written or spoken language based on the analysis of the corpora. Right? This is a corpora. This is data. So author identification, forensic stylistics, discourse analysis, linguistic stylistics, and forensic phonetics. These are the next steps of this study. Just go overlook it. Okay. So from where do we collect the linguistic data? आता भाषेचा अभ्यास करतो असं आपण म्हणतोय, पण हा भाषेचा अभ्यास करताना भाषेचे नमुने आहेत, काही सॅम्पल्स, ते कुठून मिळणार आपल्याला? Just like they can be anything. However, forensic linguists focus on these things, right? Like emergency calls, okay, to identify the voice of the speaker. Ransom demand, video, audio, or written. Ransom means किडनॅप केलेला असेल, खंडणीचं पत्र असेल, खंडणीचा व्हिडिओ असेल, राईट. खंडणीचं पत्र असेल, व्हिडिओ असेल, ऑडिओ असेल, ते सुद्धा आपल्याला पाहायला मिळतं. इमर्जन्सी कॉल फॉर रेकॉर्डिंग फॉर एक्झाम्पल, आपल्याला डाटा मिळू शकतो. इवन यू गेट थ्रेट मेल. एखाद्या टेररिस्ट कडून आपला जर समजा एखादा मेल आला, आपण तो ओपन केला, तर खरोखर मेल ओरिजिनल आहे की नाही हे सुद्धा चेक केला जाऊ शकतं. सुसाइड लेटर्स, ज्या व्यक्तीने सुसाइड केली आहे खरोखर सुसाइड आहे की मर्डर आहे. ओके. Generally what happens, as I explained earlier, that a person who commits suicide generally writes a suicide note, but police checks it whether that suicide note is written by that person, that dead person or not, isn't it? So police also investigates whether it is a suicide or a murder, like that. ज्या व्यक्तीने आत्महत्या केली आहे त्याच्या पत्रातला हँडरायटिंग आणि त्याचे दुसरे काहीतरी हँडरायटिंग असेल ते सुद्धा मॅच केली जाते. That the main question is, did the author kill him or herself? That's it. हा data आहे. So two wings are there of forensic linguistic, first is written language and spoken language, right? So written material can be phone messages, notes, handwriting letters, posting on social media, Facebook सुद्धा आजकाल written language set पुरावा म्हणू शकतो आपण. Just like terrorist threat, suicide, kidnapping, blackmailing, messages, these are the written languages. As far as spoken language is concerned, spoken means the audio clip, okay? Official interviews of the witnesses, suspects, victims, language used by the offenders and criminals or victims during a crime. The focus of the area is not simply what was said, but how it was said. काय बोललेलं आहे ते महत्वाचं नाहीये, ते कसं बोललं गेलेलं आहे ते जास्त पाहिलं जात असतं. So linguists who primarily investigate written language look at features, right? मग भाषेचा अभ्यास केला जातो म्हणजे काय काय पाहिलं जातं बरं? Accent, dialect, pronunciation, tone of voice, speed, and rhythm of speech, right? So these things are checked by the forensic linguists. मग यामध्ये कोणकोणत्या गोष्टी येत असतात? तर लॉ आहे, it's called psychology, sociology, computational sciences, and criminology. Right? Emergency or hoax or fake call. बरेच आपण न्यूजपेपर मध्ये ऐकतो फेक कॉल आलेला आहे. एक्सवायच्या रेल्वे स्टेशनवर बॉम्ब ठेवलेला आहे असा फोन येतो. पोलीस तिथे जातात, बॉम्ब ठेवलेलाच नसतो, काहीच नसतं तिथे. मग असा कॉलला आपण काय म्हणू शकतो? फेक कॉल और हॉक्स कॉल. मग पुढचा प्रश्न काय? हा कॉल कोणी केला, कुठून केला? कळतं की एखाद्या या ठिकाणावरून या पब्लिक बूथवरून फोन आलेला आहे. मग कोणी केलेला आहे, ते कोण कोण आलं होतं त्या वेळामध्ये, हे सगळं चेक केलं जातं. समजा 4 ते 5 जणांना पोलिसांनी पकडून आणलं, पुन्हा त्यांचा ऑडिओ रेकॉर्ड केला जाईल आणि तो फोन मधला ऑडिओ जो टेप झालेला आहे त्याचं कंपॅरिझन केलं जाईल आणि त्यामधून काय कळेल मग की कोणी हा खोडसाळपणा केलेला आहे. तो रॅन्सम खंडणीचे पत्र असतात ते सुद्धा आपल्याला इथे अभ्यास करायला मिळणारच आहे. Suicide letters, same case. I have explained it earlier. Social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, right? The material available on such kind of social media can be used as an evidence against the criminal, right? बरेच जण आता सोशल मीडियावर फेसबुक लाईव्हवर सुसाईड करायचा ट्रेंड आलेला आहे. हा आता सुसाईड, ठीक आहे. बरेच जण सुसाईडचा व्हिडिओ, सुसाईड करण्या अगोदरचा व्हिडिओ पोस्ट करतात. सो ते चेक वेदर दिस व्हिडिओ इज जेन्युइन, मीन्स ओरिजिनल और नॉट, लाईक दॅट. ओके, अशा भरपूर गोष्टी आहेत. So language is just like a fingerprint. People reveal something about who they are through the linguistic choices, right? Analysis can help identify a writer's nationality, native language, occupation, training, education, age, experience. आपण जी भाषा वापरतो आहे त्यामध्ये सगळ्या गोष्टी इंडिकेट होत असतात. ओके, so written and spoken, right? So let's move towards the end of our discussion. That linguists have provided evidence like trademark, disputes, and all these things. We have to go into deeper matters. Voice identification, this is also called phonetics. Audio जो असेल तो सुद्धा forensic linguists check करू शकतात, right? Just like speaker profiling, they check the dialect, social background, age, and gender of the speaker, right? To know exactly who is the speaker, like that. So author identification is there, forensic stylistics is there, discourse analysis, linguistics, psychology, all these things are used as evidence. Okay, just go through it then comes forensic phonetics, forensic transcription, and variation. All these things are just for the information. We will be not to go into details. Just have a rough idea that forensic linguistics is nothing but the study of two different things, that is language and the law department. Right. With this, let's stop over here. Right. Thank you very much.